back to the Doctor Who Marathon. I'm your host McEdam, and today we're going to be talking about The Brood of Erys, written by Andrew Smith. This one, there's not really much to talk about behind the scenes. Andrew Smith is, of course, a regular to Big Finish audio dramas, and we've talked about him before with the Fifth Doctor audio drama, The Starmen. He also wrote Full Circle, which was a story he wrote when he was 18. This is him. I believe this is the first time we're going to be talking about his Sixth Doctor story. Wow, that's really bad. I do apologise. But apart from that, I mean, there's nothing really to talk about. There's no recurring villain. There's no like heavy canonical stuff really until not until anyway the real very end of the story. But this feels a lot more standalone than your usual Doctor Who stories, and because of that, I haven't been given a mood feel of what the general Doctor Who fan base think of this story. I can't really find any reviews talking about this one. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty fun experience. It felt like it was very similar to other stories, to the point where it did kind of started to feel like rinse and repeat. But I don't think it's as it should be overlooked. I think a lot of people might get a lot of enjoyment out of this, and because it's a very standalone story, you can easily pick this up without any notion of previous stories. Again, apart from the very end where it ties in with this loose trilogy, because at this point, Doctor Who, the monthly range of Big Finish usually ties things in threes. It's not really that important, but there you go. So this is the official Big Finish CD cover with Colin Baker and Lisa Greenwood there. Really good cover. I really like these ships on the bottom. You can't see it because of the glare. And obviously with these I make my own DVD cover. This one is obviously just a picture on the thing, but I've luckily found a really good HD quality, so I was able to use this image of it, and I made this myself in Pixel R. It's like Photoshop for free. And so there's the spine if anyone is interested. I really like the colour, the balancing of the colour on the text on that. Looks really nice. And that's the back. Yeah, because of the way it's spaced out, it means I can have completely different images from the back and the front there with the TARDIS hanging out in space. Hooray! So the start of the story is that the Doctor is just doing some basic maintenance on the TARDIS, testing out its triangular location or something, and what he plans to do is basically teleport the TARDIS from one place to try and get a signal, and then go somewhere else and then see if you can pick up the signals, because it's something to do with when the TARDIS, before the TARDIS lands somewhere, it scans the area so that it knows where to park, basically. And Flip, showing off her East End style personality, basically is like, oh, it's like connecting a video game controller to a console. The Doctor's like, what? Flipping this is a lot of fun in this. I really enjoyed Lisa Barrowman's not Lisa Barrowman. That's twice I've made that mistake now. Lisa Greenwood's performance. She gets her own little story, her own little plot. This is one of the stories, and the first time in the Flip era that we're talking about, there might be another story prior to this. I don't know, I haven't listened to every single Flip story, but this is the first time that, from my point of view, where we get the the Doctor and his companions separated really early on, just to have a back at the ranch storytelling in which you build up one plot line and then you cut to what's happening in the other area of the story, and you let that build up and you keep the pacing going. And this story is paced extremely well. We're always learning about new information and new characters and beats and moments and action and suspense. It works very well in terms of pacing. Doctor finds out that in this galaxy there's only one planet with one moon, and around this is a field of satellites, man-made satellites with signals. And when the Doctor listens in, the signal actually has a voice recording on it stating, any traveller going around here to stay back, do not enter this space. It is extremely dangerous. Please go before any harm comes to you. However, before the Doctor and Flip could even move, they get, I wouldn't say attacked, but they get captured, should we say then, by a group of these small ships. And on these small ships are a race, the Drashi, a race of childlike individuals who actually can breathe out in space, and they open the hatches and actually try and climb onto the TARDIS. And Flip, basically, despite the Doctor saying like, no, it's unsafe, it's dangerous, they could be who knows what, Flip opens the door to let them in, and these bunch of children-like characters get inside the TARDIS. And they start off friendly at first, stating that there's no danger. Why? We don't know why these people are saying there's danger around here. We are your friends and stuff. But suddenly it gets hostile as they want to take the TARDIS, and they try to use their mental powers to overload the Doctor's brain. He starts suffering at first, but soon it has no effect as the Doctor gets adjusted. And so these characters then capture Flip and take her back to their own ship, to which he transports her to the moon called Erys, which is the name of the title of the story. The Doctor is about to head off to try and save her. However, he discovers that there is a ship that's just about to come out of hyperspace, and it's about to crash straight into a gravity pull. And the Doctor scans the ship and finds that there is one life sign. So he goes into the ship and saves this individual. This woman who seems to have no memory of who she is. She doesn't even know her own name. And the Doctor states, it's like, I will help you get your memory back, but first I need to get onto the planet to try and save my friend, my companion. So the story then splits into two for the majority of the plot. Flip gets tortured by the Drashi, who make her see giant spiders and bringing out her fears. However, a bombastic voice tells the Drashi to basically back off and let me speak to her. Flip is like, come out where I can see you. And then this voice is like, oh, but you can see me. I'm all around you. I am the moon, the planet-sized life form, Erys. So this, I don't know, it's confusing because they keep calling it a sentient planet, but it's the moon. It is the moon that is the sentient being. So I'm just going to call it a sentient planet because that's what the story says it is. And basically this the sentient planet is got, he basically has the power to create life, and he can also read people's minds. He learns through Flip's mind about the TARDIS and the Doctor, but Flip closes her mind towards him to little effect. It's also stated that there's some bits where these Drashi come from, and that the Drashi are actually his children. These are he created them, and he will protect them. But not everything as it seems. As one of the Drashi hates the fact that basically they had to give up Flip to their parent. They call him the parent, and later on Erys absorbs her into the floor so that she can be assimilated. At which she comes crashing down into the room below, where she meets some female Drashi who try to capture her, but she quickly escapes. But the ones on the top don't know about this really, and so they're kind of annoyed that like they're the ones who found her, and they wanted to examine the spacecraft, but their parent, the Erys, won't allow them to. Now, Erys is played by Brian Shelley, and his voice is goddamn fantastic. It reminds me a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit like a Vincent Price, like a bombastic, larger than life presence, who has a little bit of a twinkle, a twirl in his voice, and when you listen to him, you kind of feel like you want to do as he says, but he can also come off as really threatening and really and has a huge demeanour about him. And I think the voice acting in this is incredibly well done. The Doctor lands on a small village on the planet below. I believe they state it's the only planet, the only village, on this planet, and he talks to one of the residents there, who originally believes that they are some sort of torture devices of the Drashi, and they explain that the Drashi always come from their moon, and sometimes they come down onto the planet to torture these villagers just for seemingly for the fun of it. They have very little. They get amusement from basically torturing these individuals who have done nothing wrong, who's done nothing to harm them. And the Doctor and the stranger decides, right, we're going to go. So you're telling me that if they had Flip, they would have taken her to the moon. It's also here that the Doctor learns that the moon is alive. And the Doctor states he's met other planets, sentient planets, or planet-like life forms. Flip actually mentions that she's already met one at one point. This is a reference to The Crime of Thomas Brewster, her first ever appearance in an audio drama, which I didn't tackle for... if you want to know why, watch my video of The Curse of Davros. Or just watch that one because it's a really good... it's one of my videos that I liked, that I made. And so, yeah, so the Doctor goes up into the moon, where they go into the cavity of it, and they speak to Erys, and he reads the Doctor's mind, and he knows about the TARDIS and his past and stuff, but then he tries to read the mind of the girl, the stranger, and he can't. He has no idea on who she is. It's like he tries to read her, but he can't get anything. The Doctor explains that he reads people's fears. He can read their minds, but the connection is more stronger with somebody who who has massive fears and phobias. And this woman who has no idea what anything is, has no way of anybody connecting to him. And the doctor theorises then that the amnesia that she's suffering was actually made on purpose so that she can be immune to Erys. But she hears a voice in her head, later explained as a communication in her ear. And this thing tells her to throw something, a bomb that she contained, and throw it to a particular nerve end of the planet. However, the plan fails as Erys puts a goo on it, which contains the blast and contains the bomb, and they become prisoners. Now let's talk about this this mysterious character. She's basically a surrogate companion, a companion just for the one story, to act as a companion for the Doctor. But I really like this idea of a companion who has no idea who she is. I'd have actually liked to have seen a real companion who suffers from amnesia, and the Doctor's got to kind of help her with her memories. Of course, we had something similar with Charlie pretending to suffer from amnesia, but the Doctor never really believed her. And of course, the amnesia bit wasn't really true or anything, so that's a plot point. This character I really like. Her clothes are torn, and at one point in the TARDIS, the Doctor suggests that she changes because her clothes are ripped. But she's like, no, these clothes are fine for the moment. She can feel something in her trousers. Something has been knitted onto her trousers, and so she rips her trousers to look on the inside, and she finds pictures of two girls who she quickly remembers who they are. Nobody else, not even her own name, but she remembers who these are. These are her daughters. She doesn't know why, or how she even forgot her daughters, but she now remembers that she has daughters. And like the audience, we learn a little bit pieces about her. When Flip escapes, she finds herself into one of the Drashi's ships, and she floats into space, and because she has no control over it, she is suspended in space. But during the same time, maybe luckily, Erys, fearing that the Doctor is some sort of assassin, propels the TARDIS up into space to where it was captured by a ship nearby, but not too close, and also gets captured by the ship is Flip's capsule. Flip would then meet the man who was talking to the mysterious woman, and he explains that he is her father, and that they come down to try and kill Erys because his granddaughters have gone missing onto the planet, and that nobody tried to help them. The authorities won't help them because they're too afraid of this planet, and so they go down to a thing. So Flip then has a small little plot with this character, and she gets flung into the TARDIS back onto Erys, where she rescues the Doctor and this girl. When they reunite with the Doctor works out that basically because Erys is completely mad and insane, he's going to kill all the villagers. At least they're a massive threat. So they get into the TARDIS to try and convince the people to get into the Doctor's TARDIS and evacuate. The Drashi, you get a scene with the Drashi where they meet up with a new recruit, a newly born Drashi, who a female version who's just been like integrated into the society, and they roam around. And the leader of the Drashi basically explains that he's kind of going against Erys, that like they're sick about being allowed to learn about alien spacecrafts and not allowed to torture anybody, whoever they please. And so they're basically planning to rebel against them. And they then start heading down to the planet. And we get a scene then when the Doctor's trying to convince the villagers to leave in the TARDIS, but they won't. And the Doctor's like, let me just map out what I plan to do, and then I will leave it up to the villagers to decide. And he opens the TARDIS door and asks one of them to walk in. However, as soon as he walks in, he collapses, he passes out. And the Doctor has a theory, a very disturbing theory. These creatures are actually part of Erys itself, that they are sustained from Erys' consciousness, and when they went into the TARDIS, it broke their connection, and so they can't survive outside this planet. After later on, the Drashi come out and they plan to originally capture the Doctor's TARDIS and use his ship to go to be free of Erys. But then it turns out that the new recruit, the new girl, was actually using the consciousness of Erys. She plans to, it plans to, because it is Erys, it says Erys' consciousness, to punish all those who go against it, and it basically kills every villager, or at least their physical form. It's later revealed that their subconsciousness were pulled into the planet, which is where the assimilation comes from, and their souls, their essence, maintain on the planet, but their consciousness gets connected to these physical bodies on the planet. And so when Erys destroyed them, they still technically survived on Erys itself. The actual Erys, the planet, also captures the ship that rescued Flip, capturing the mysterious girl's, this mysterious woman's father, and so Erys learns everything about the assassination plans and the attempt and everything that's going on. And so Erys plans to take the TARDIS back onto the moon. At one point I was thinking, hold on, if the people in the village couldn't go in the TARDIS, why can't the Drashi? But it is explained. Erys also creates these mud monsters which have no free will. They obey only Erys' will, and he plans to basically punish all the Drashi and the Doctor and Flip and all these who have abandoned it. So they go back onto the planet, and we get, and the Doctor makes a getaway plan, and he travels to the lower decks to try and sever a nerve in the brain, a specific nerve that won't exactly kill him, but would calm him down so that it'd be much more perceptible, much more in tune to communicate. However, when he gets there, he quickly learns that there is already a deterioration. This planet is suffering from some sort of infection, some sort of disease, and so the Doctor has to quickly cure it before all these mud creatures could come out and kill everybody. The mysterious girl gets her memory retrieved back thanks to her father, and they then find and rescue her husband and her 2 children. And the story ends with the planet becoming good again. This nerve was making him very anxious, paranoid, and aggressive, and when the Doctor fixed this nerve, it became gentle again. The Doctor also transplanted a bit of his own memory into Erys as a gift to teach him about parenting and stuff. It's also here that we get a heavy connection to not only just the Doctor Who universe, but to the trilogy of this plot, as it mentions that it remembers certain companions of the Doctor. We get some names like Sarah Jane, Jo Grant, Perry, and we also get the name Susan Foreman, and the Doctor's like, that's my granddaughter. This shock flips, of course. It's like, you're a granddad? We get a really great scene of them talking about the ending of the Dalek invasion of Earth, and how the Doctor let her go because she needed to become her own person, her own self. And the Doctor gave him that memory so that he can learn to give his children, the Drashi, their own way of life, their own experiences. But Erys also explains that in these new memories he can also feel regrets of leaving these companions all by themselves. And the story ends with Flip and the Doctor basically going on a quest to find Perry, as the Doctor regretted leaving her behind. And so the Doctor and Flip go off to search for Perry. Flip jokes that she thought that the Doctor was going to try to imply that that he takes her home and end their adventure so that he could go looking for Perry. But no, he takes her with him to go looking for Perry, and that's how our story ends. And so that's The Brood of Erys. Overall, it's a pretty decent story. My main issues with it is that a lot of plot elements in this story, sentient planet, a creature that basically believes it's God that goes mad, and the Doctor has to fix it, very similar to The Face of Evil, and one of the Key to Time trilogy. I can't remember which one exactly, but a lot of the story is, if you're into Doctor Who, is a lot of retreading. It's a lot of stuff that we've seen before, we've heard before, and though it does a decent job at redoing these concepts, it's still concepts which have been done hundreds upon hundreds of times before in Doctor Who, and so it doesn't feel like it's bringing anything new to the table. It's nothing necessarily groundbreaking in terms of what it has to offer for plot, but the plot is well executed. I've realised that Andrew Smith really likes his abstract evolution species. Full circle, we have people getting turned into spiders that get turned into marshmen, or no, it's the marshmen get turned into spiders that get turned into people. In the Starmen, it's a completely different dimension where people are made out of stardust. And here we have tiny imp-like creatures, childlike creatures that evolve from coming out of the walls of a planet. And that the planet can also make mud sentient and stuff. So that seems to be his trademark. So if you like Andrew Smith's style, I highly recommend this one. It has very good atmosphere. It feels very much like those stories that he's written before. The Doctor and Flip are very interested in this story. The story is well paced, it's well executed, the acting is really good. I really like the villain in this story, despite the fact that his end, when he turns good, it's like really abruptly. It's like the Doctor fixes one nerve and gives him memory to, which is a scene that we don't actually see. and that's it. He's good now. But it's pretty decent. I say check it out if you're interested. Of course, there's no real big reason to get this. There's no recurring villain. It's much more of a standalone piece that it might catch the corner of your eye, and you might pick it up if you like intro. You're like, I wonder what this is about. This is something completely new. So yeah, highly recommended. So join me next time where we will be saying goodbye to a friend of ours as the Doctor and Flip land on a spacecraft above India. So join me next time for Scavenger. I'll see you next time on the Doctor Who Marathon. Ta-da!